Okay. Okay. So now look over here. We were talking about methods of collection of gases. Okay. So let's talk about the methods. Okay. Look, there are several ways to collect the gases. Okay. So the very first way that we are talking about is, wait a minute, let me make it go. Yeah, good. Okay. So the very first way to collect the gases is by water displacement method. Okay. So what happens is that over here we have a downward delivery tube. Just give me a minute. You have this gas jar. Okay. You fill it up with water. Okay. And then this is a delivery tube. Okay. And you insert it upside down. Okay. So what would happen is the water would come down from here. Okay. And the gas would start to get collected over here. Okay. Now, there are two things. First of all, if you just want to collect the gas, okay, if you just want to collect the gas and you don't want to measure the volume, then you can even use a gas jar. Okay. But if you want to collect the volume and the volume is large enough, so you should use measuring cylinder. Am I clear to you? Okay. What I just said, that when you are collecting gases, okay, you have to look into it that how much is the volume. If the volume is very much large and you want to note the volume as well, okay, and the gas is not soluble in water, okay, so how do you collect it? You collect it by water displacement method. Okay, so what do you do? First of all, you fill it up with the jar, all right, with the water. You put it inside, like you put it upside down, and then the gas would be collected over here. You got it? And water would be displaced out. Let's say you want to note the volume, so you will use measuring cylinder. And let's say if you don't want to note the volume, then what will you use? The gas jar. Gas syringe you will use when you have to collect small volume of gas. Okay? Are you getting it? You have to, whenever you have to note the volume of the gas, you use either measuring cylinder or gas syringe. Okay. Now it depends on what, like how much of the gas are we collecting. If we are collecting a huge volume of gas, of which we do have to note the volume, we use measuring cylinder. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Then you are collecting over here the gases. Okay. Now look, what do? We evaluate either the gases are more denser than air or less denser than air. Okay. If they're more denser than air, then we collect it by downward delivery method. Okay. And if they're less denser than air, then we collect it by upward delivery method. Are you getting this? Okay. So, for example, what is the MR of carbon dioxide? It is 44. Okay. And the MR of air is what? It is 28. So carbon dioxide is heavier or heavier or lighter? Heavier. So we will collect it by downward delivery method. Okay. And let's say ammonia. Ammonia MR is what? 17. Okay. Less denser than air. So how will you collect it? Upward delivery method. Okay. I've already talked to you about how would you measure the gases. Okay, so if you measure the gases and if it's in large volume, okay, it's in large volume, so you collect it by measuring cylinder. Okay, and if it's in small volume, okay, so you collect it by gas syringe. You have to make sure that you use the word gas syringe and you don't write just the syringe. Okay, then we are talking about drying of gases. Okay, what do we mean by drying of gases? Let's just say you have this apparatus. Okay, wait a minute. Let me use a different color. All right. So let's just say we have this delivery tube. Okay. So we have it like that. Okay. So what is happening is that we are inserting over here moist HCl, okay, and from here dry HCl is being released. Okay, over here also we are inserting moist gas, okay, and from here we are taking out the dry gas. Okay, now the thing is that what kind of chemicals can we use? Okay, so we can use the drying agents could be concentrated sulfuric acid or calcium oxide or calcium chloride. Are you getting it? Fused calcium chloride. All right. Now, here's the catch. The catch is before you dry out the gas, you have to know what is the nature of the gas. Okay. Because let's just say some gas is acidic. Okay. For example, HCl. Okay. So would you let it go through calcium chloride because calcium oxide is alkaline? Huh. So would you use calcium oxide over here to dry it out? You won't now. Okay. Why you won't? Otherwise, imagine HCl is going inside. It is reacting with calcium oxide. You don't want this reaction to happen, right? What will form? Calcium chloride and water. Right? Do you want this reaction to happen? You don't want this reaction to happen, right? Okay. So what do you do in this scenario then? Instead of using this, you use concentrated sulfuric acid then. Are you getting it? You use concentrated sulfuric acid. Why? Because the gas that you're drying out is acidic and the drying agent is also acidic. So they won't react with each other and water molecules would be removed. Are you getting it? Over here, let's say you're having moist ammonia. Okay. In fact, over here, let's say instead of HCl, let's say I'm having ammonia gas. Okay, I'm having ammonia gas. Can I collect it by using concentrated sulfuric acid? Why not? It will react. Ammonia and sulfuric acid would react to produce what? Ammonium sulfate and water, right? It will react. It's alkaline gas and it's acid. It will react with it. And what's the use? वो तो react कर गया, right? Dehydrate the wine. ठीक है. So what should I use if I want to dry out ammonia? Instead of concentrated sulfuric acid, what should I use? I should use calcium oxide. It's because it's basic in nature, right? So it will not react with it. Are you getting? Okay. Then you have ensure the delivery tube collecting dry HCl should not be dipped in concentrated sulfuric acid or it will not collect the dry gas. What do we mean by this point? This means that it should not be dipped inside like this. Otherwise, what will happen? The gas will bubble out over here. The gas will create pressure and the concentrated acid would actually start to move out. Are you getting? So instead of gas, we will be collecting over here the acid, right? So which is why it should be above over here. So the gas will bubble out and then the gas which is dried out, it will be collected over here. Are you getting it? Okay. Concentrated sulfuric acid should not be used when collecting alkaline gas such as ammonia. We just covered up this topic, right? Okay. Now let's talk about this question. Okay. Because अगर आपके पास हाइड्रोक्साइड होगा नाम में तो इसका मतलब वो क्या है? अल्कलाइन है. हाँ, ठीक है. अभी देखो यहाँ पे ये क्या कर रहे हैं. They're saying aqueous sodium hydroxide. That means they're telling you with sodium hydroxide we have water dissolved. Okay, so you wrote over here sodium hydroxide. Okay, so sodium hydroxide when is warmed, okay, that means in the final reaction you're heating it up, right? Okay, is warmed with ammonium sulfate. So you will write ammonium and then you'll write sulfate over here. Okay, now what will you write over here and over here? Now this is a displacement reaction, right? So what will happen? Ammonium, okay, will react with hydroxide to produce 2 moles of ammonium hydroxide. Are you getting it? Okay, all right. and then sulfate would react with sodium to produce sodium sulfate. Are you catching up? Okay. Then you'll balance it up. If you won't balance any chemical equation, it will be marked wrong. Okay. Now what will happen is that, okay, now this is aqueous, they have already told you, and for ammonium sulfate, they didn't mention anything, right? Okay. And now their first question is that name substance C over here. What is substance C over here? Huh. Why? Because this is liquidy, isn't it? Okay. And we know that the two substances are reacting. One of them has to be liquid. So that liquid thing would be probably sodium hydroxide. Very good. Then we have substance D. Yes. Ammonia? Only ammonia. No, no. What is this aqueous ammonia sulfate? Are you even reading the question? Aqueous sodium hydroxide is warmed up with ammonium sulfate. It has to be ammonium sulfate, na? खुद ही से नहीं लगाओ, question पढ़ो, question. Okay, this is ammonium sulfate. All right. Now they're saying what is missing? Hanji, you're heating it up. So what is missing? This means heat. Okay. So what is missing? Bunsen burner. Excellent. Okay. So over here, Bunsen burner should be there. What happened? Explain why concentrated sulfuric acid should not be used to dry ammonia, as it will react with acid. Okay. There are two mistakes in the apparatus. What are the mistakes? The very first mistake is that because we know that ammonia is lighter than air, right? Because we are warming it up. So this ammonium hydroxide will actually be broken into ammonia and water. Okay, so we are collecting eventually ammonia, right? Because water, we are dehydrating it, right? Okay, so the very first mistake they're making is the way of collecting gas. It should be collected like this. Are you getting? So it should not be collected like this. Okay, very good, excellent. Okay, use of downward delivery tube. Okay, and then you'll write ammonia is less denser than air, so should be collected by upward delivery tube. Okay. Then we have mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is this. Imagine you are producing the gas, okay, and the ammonia gas would actually be bubbled over here. So it will push the liquid down. All right. So just like straw, you know, what will happen if you blow up straw? Blow. If you blow, so there would be bubbles within the liquid, right? And let's say if it was a sealed container and you're bubbling over here, or you're you know exhaling through one side of the straw, and this entire apparatus is sealed up. So what will happen? नहीं बबल्स तो फूटेंगे नहीं ना, यहाँ पर ये सारा का सारा एयर जमा होना शुरू हो जाएगा. देखो ना, the air will start to trap over here and it will push the liquid down, and the liquid will go up from here and it will start to collect over here. ऐसे जैसे fountain बन जाएगा. Okay, so we don't want it to happen, right? Okay, so what will you do is that you will dip, okay, delivery tube in here. Okay, and then what will you do? You will, wait a minute. you will remove it from here. Are you getting? Okay. So it will be like that. All right. So this is the correct measurement. Okay. This is how it should be like. You got it? Okay. Wait a minute. ये चैप्टर नहीं है, एक छोटा सा सब टॉपिक आपको मेंशन किया हुआ है क्योंकि आपको क्लास 10 में जाकर के जो है ना रेट्स ऑफ रिएक्शन पढ़ना पड़ेगा। ठीक है, तो उसके लिए आपको पता होना चाहिए ये सारा कुछ। अरे यार ये कहाँ लगाए हम, यहाँ पर ही लगा देते हैं, है ना। जाओ बेटा, जाओ फिर, ठीक है। अच्छा एक चीज और, this should be dipped till here, okay, and acid should be filled till here. Why? So that whatever gas is produced, it will bubble up from here and it will not go back from here. Are you getting this? If you draw it like this, okay, so this is what you label as thistle funnel. Okay, this over here is the bung. Okay, this over here is the bung. And then you had to mention gas jar and conical flask. So this over here is gas jar. Okay, and this over here is conical flask. You got it? ठीक है, चलो भैया छुट्टी, टन 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 टन।